back everyone, my name is Venya and I am a first year medical student at the University of Nottingham. This video is a 3-step comprehensive guide on how to ace your personal statement. The personal statement can be a great way to enhance the quality of your overall application, so you want to make sure that you're putting in your best foot forward. I would recommend that you approach it with planning. You make sure you give yourself the grace of a couple of days to write it down because it's a 4,000 character essay, so you want to be putting in everything that you deem to be essential. And you want to have it completed a couple of days before the 15th of October deadline so that you have time to refine it and you're not rushing to hit that submit button. Any great essay, you want to ensure that you have done some quality prep work. So the first thing I will tell you to do is to create a table like this, detailing every single extracurricular you have done towards your degree. For example, things like shadowing, volunteering, reading medical books or journals, joining a medical society, and in another column, write down all the extracurriculars that you have done generally towards your life. So things like maybe you've held some leadership positions, maybe you've had some sporting accomplishments. So make a table detailing all of this. Another table you want to make is something like this. This should be listing your motivations for pursuing your degree of choice. Step 2 of prep work is to write down your strengths. You need to be self-evaluative for this, but you can also use the help of your friends, your family members, and your colleagues in helping you determine what you are good at. These things can be communication skills, leadership skills, compassion, empathy. Now you have that table like this. You want to compare your strengths to strengths that are required to be a good doctor. Something like this. Now you want to match them up together and you will have a set of words that entail both of what you are good at and what a doctor is required to be good at. Now you want to write a paragraph like this, detailing when you have used that skill in your life and why that skill might be useful in the life of a doctor. The last step of prep work is to read exemplar personal statements. This would help you get used to the formal writing style and might give you ideas on how to structure your personal statement. Here are some couple of good websites that you can use to read some great exemplar personal statements, but I'm going to be covering mine as well in the next video, so look out for that. 2 is all about your structure. There are 2 approaches that you can generally take. You could either storytell your own experience or storytell from a third-person point of view. When you're storytelling your own experience, you want to highlight life-changing moments. It can also be cathartic, like disease or bereavement, but something that was so pivotal that it made you decide that medicine is the career that you desire. However, with a structure like this, make sure that you're not missing out on talking about your work experience and reflecting on it. Structure 2 is all about third-person point of view. In this structure, you want to be discussing your work experience, what you saw the doctor do, what you saw the doctor do to rectify that situation, and what you learned from it. However, in this type of structure, make sure you still are adding your personal touches. Now, how do you actually begin writing? This is where your prep work comes in handy. You want to create these short bullet points addressing the broader topics that you're going to be including in your introduction, your main body, and your conclusion, and fill these up with your extracurriculars, your strengths, and your motivations to pursue your degree. Make sure to be as elaborative as possible, but remember that we're going to tackle the word count and all of this later in the refinement process of the video. Here is an example of what you can address in your paragraphs. So, in your introduction, you could talk about your motivation to study medicine. in your main body, you should be talking all about your work experience and the extracurriculars that you have done, for example, volunteering, reading books and journals, towards your degree that have helped you gain a realistic understanding in the life of a doctor, both lows and the highs. You could also talk about extracurriculars that don't directly correspond to the degree but have taught you essential skills on how to be a doctor. Transferable skills that can be acquired from sports or leadership positions that you have taken in the past. Your conclusion can play a role of demonstrating your passion for your career and why you think you'd make a good candidate. However, don't make the mistake of reserving your passion only for your conclusion. Make sure your passion shines all throughout your essay. Now, you have written that big, long essay, but you want to refine it. How do you do it yourself? The first tip is to show and not tell. This is a tip from English, but it is particularly useful in this scenario. For example, you don't just want to say a doctor's job is very emotionally and physically demanding. Instead, you want to describe what led you to reach this conclusion. Was it a doctor breaking bad news? Was it an angry patient? Was it you realizing that doctors work long hours? Or upon talking to a doctor, you understood that, night shifts can be particularly taxing on one's body. Tip 2 is to use transitional words and phrases. These will make your essays sound less abrupt, and these tend to be things like similarly, alternatively, furthermore, etc., etc. You get the point. Tip 3 is to cut down the unnecessary and make sure that your essay is fitting the 4,000 word count. There's 3 ways to approach this. First of all, you want to eliminate any sentence that is repeated. The second thing you want to do is that you want to shorten any sentences that you have dragged out, so make them more concise. And lastly, eliminate any sentence that does not correspond to your main aim, which is your motivations to study the career or your skills that are essential to study that career. Lastly, where do you seek help from? First of all, you can seek help from someone who has dealt with the medicine application process. So it could be a teacher, a career advisor, a guidance counselor. Secondly, you want to seek help from someone who is good at English. They can help you out with your grammar and enrich the vocabulary that you have used in your personal statement. And lastly, you can seek help from your friends and family. You can get them to read over it, point any mistakes. And a pro tip before submitting your essay, give yourself a couple of days and read your essay again with a fresh pair of eyes before hitting that submit button so that you could pinpoint the small little mistakes you might have made. Okay, so this is the end of this video. Good luck with your personal statement, and I'm sure you're going to do great if you try your best.